Ah! I'm here! Ah, heck! I clicked everything in the wrong order. I clicked go live before I even connected to my model. um Okay, okay. I'm here. I'm present. Hello, Jaku. How are you? Today's tea is golden turmeric chai or something like that. I thought I had time to look at stuff and like browse, but I guess I don't. And also I need to do my Discord thing. One sec. There we go. Yeah, Ven abducted the cats so I could sleep in. And it helped. It helped. I think I'm well rested. I think my eyes are okay. I don't feel a headache, so I think I'm good. Hi. Hello, Blue. How are you? Good morning. Happy October. Oh my goodness. It's the best time of the year. I feel like everybody gets to relax and start enjoying the year. The grind is almost over. I think I left off. What were we doing? We went all the way here to retrieve a chip. No, we were here to retrieve a chip and here to drop off, but we have to go back here. Why is it blacked out? Why? Why is it blacked out? Why is this blacked out? Oh, whoa. What's going on? October. It is October. I thought they would make us go into here, but whoa, there's something there. Maybe that's where we need to go. Or no, what? Botanist is here. Doctor is here. What's this? Is it raining there? It kind of is. Maybe if we go through here, we can get to it without us catching the rain. Still wonder if there's a way this way, you know? The weather station. Maybe. Jeez, but I feel like this rain has just stayed consistent in this area, you know? Like, when does it go away? My son being a poopy head? You have a son? Okay, let's go. Hold on, my screen is dark. Ooh, now I can see. Yes, you have a baby. I haven't heard from you in so long. You have a baby? Oh my goodness. Go like Instagram. I can't right now. My phone is in use, but after stream I will. Let's go. He's so cute. I believe you. I believe you. I believe you. Get him. Oh, his own little tiny ukulele. It's a rite of passage. The VTuber struggle, I understand. Good, good. Thank you for understanding. What is that? That's not new. I mean, that is new. Someone built it here. Where is it supposed to go? Someone left a... It's the incinerator. Okay, we're gonna go. His legal name is...
You alright?
Goober Goober. No way. I don't believe you. Is the V name Goober Goober? I don't believe you. Let's see, let's see. What is that way? Oh, no falling rocks. I need to look in Instagram ASAP. I don't think I even have Instagram installed. Actually. I'm seeing like people's trucks. You know that highlighter yellow looks good too. Very visible. Makes your truck very, very visible. Maybe I should do a highlighter yellow. This is certainly a road.
I need to stay without you, kid.
Aww, he's so sad. We're out of materials, and I feel like we need to go kill these guys to replenish our stock. Where is... We can go down. Oh. Lordy lord. Oh. Yep. Yep. Out of mats, out of BB. Life is rough out here. Sam Porter Bridges is not having a good time. She's my boopy goopy. That's adorable. Where go? I think Latte was like missing me because when I was in the bathroom, she was like tucking her tail all the way under the door and like trying to get my attention, and I'm like, girl. Girl, I see you. I just... Give me a minute. Are they still gone? Oh, they're still down. They're still down. It's still counting it. Blah. They're still counting it from the last time I played. I for sure thought I'd have to fight them again. Okay. Well. Lovely. Don't mind if I do then. Sometimes lucky. I've been here and there's nothing new. That's the that's the unlucky part, is that means that the loot hasn't restarted. Loop has my curiosity peak. I'm gonna Where the heck? Hold on. Pause stream. I have to go the long way around. Wait, does this mean you got your account back? Or is this a new account? This is the same account, right? Oh my goodness! legal name. It's so cute. Oh my goodness. I love babies. Okay. Back to it. I'm over here giggling. Let's see. I need special alloys, but like, that's not a lot. And I mean, 80 ceramics is still good. Goober. Got it. Oh, give me.
Hello.
Cool. The thing is still trying to scan me. Okay, calm down. I'm taking their ceramics, but yeah. Congratulations! And also, did they help you with your account? This is the same account, right? Or did you have to make a new one? Is that theirs? No. This one's theirs, though. Ooh, there's a lot of stuff over there. So I think it's just their numbers overlapping with each other. Yeah, 40.
Hello.
My legal name is Booper Goober. Is also Booper Goober. Ah, I see. You're starting a tradition? So, your son is Booper Goober the second? The same one? Use ChatGPT to write me an appeal and it worked? Special allies. This belongs to someone. Ugh, so far. Oh! I can return this. That would mean going back. I mean, I could go back. But it's far. Look at all these ceramics. Load them up. I don't remember how much special alloys I needed, but that was a good amount just now. Maybe we will go back and we'll deliver this coffee kit. Because coffee is important. Yes, he's junior. Yeah. That's so sweet. He's so cute. For a moment, I was seriously thinking maybe you got a puppy. Oh, but that's so sweet. I'm so happy for you. He's adorable. Little cutie patootie. There's no way I can scale that mountain, can I? I do indeed have 2 dummy doggos. Where does that bridge lead to?
Hello.
He keeps talking to his baby. Very sadness. I'm suddenly getting a lot of texts. Why? Why, family? Why? Distribution center, freshwater. Nah. You guys don't need fresh water. You can print that. In reality though, his name is my name backwards, so he's not... He's RJ, not Junior. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Big brain. Where am I going? That sounds like something my family in the Philippines would say. Come on, come on. Your friend dropped ceramics. No! Please don't get stuck. Please don't get stuck. Please don't get stuck. Are you guys considering a second? Ooh. That one just moved on its own. That was scary. I have considered it. You have. And? Verdict? Wants to wait, that's fine. I mean... Give... I can't say it seriously. Give RJ
I think the same without you, kid.
plenty of time. I couldn't say it seriously. I was like... I tried. I did. Why can't I complete it? Hello? Am I just too far? Hello? Aha. Please take my special alloys. It's definitely not enough. Oh, definitely not enough. Right. All right. Let's give these guys their coffee and then head back. Cause I have stuff to complete. Wait, can I do it from here? I've never used this before. Successfully. I wonder if it'll turn it in for me. Use zipline. No connecting ziplines. What? So you need to have another. Got it. Okay. Why build one there then? Unless there's one like up there. Oh. From up there to down here. But then why would you be up there? Don't tell me we have to go up there. Look, porters. What do y'all have? Old components. Smoke emitting decoy. I realize the smoke emitting cargo decoy is only for mules. I don't think it's very useful for terrorists. Goodness, okay. Make delivery, lost cargo. No. No, no, no. I'm taking these. I'm taking these. These are for me. That was Boopert.
Delivering cargo.
Hello, baby.
Thanks for dropping by, Sam. Oh. Sam, you know, you're just about the only thing we've got to smile about these days.
Everybody hydrate so you don't get a migraine like me.
Hey, Sam. Be careful, okay?
Got it. I don't think I need to deliver like big ones for them to actually like me, but he's at almost 5 stars. He's like 4 something, 4.5.
I'll be rooting for you.
Aw, I like him.
Weapons
He
restrictions.
sounds nice, and he gives armor. Is level 3 the max? Because if it's the max, then I can just leave, right? I wish they gave us better bridges than this. Maybe it's my turn to build a bridge. Show them how it's done, you know? Do we have a PCC? Let's go. I think we go up the hill and then down. Then again, I'm pretty sure this way was fine too. Unless this takes us to the incinerator. In which case... Oh boy. Does it take us to the incinerator? I don't know. This is fine. No need to climb. I wonder if you can take the zip line with the body, you know? I would like my corpse to go on a zip line one last time. Sounds fun. Custom Chiral ladder. Let me enjoy the finer things. Oh my god, I took damage. You guys are still asleep, right? I think it was when I would use the bola gun and like kick them that they would get up really fast. But I guess doing it this way with a gun knocks them out for longer, which is cool. There's a PCC, but I don't think that one lets you build bridges. I think it needs to be level 2. And we're across. Is that a porter? You go right on ahead, buddy. Carbon. Oh boy. It's just right there. And then there's a charger right here. Well, there's so many abandoned vehicles today. It's not usually like this.
You alright?
He's so sad. Every time he remembers BB's not there, he gets so sad. It's like, oh, right. Keep on keeping on. Okie doke. Okay, but like, why is the map so empty? Like, there should be a city. There should be buildings.
All clear. Welcome, Sam Porter Bridges. Have a pleasant journey.
I have a delivery. The cats are trying to eat over there, but there's something in the way. So they're complaining to me. Hold on. 1 second. Let me get... Sorry, Connor. Okay. There. Connor got tangled up in headphone wires. The buildings appear when you trigger a BT attack, at least. Yeah. I don't think anybody lives there, though. That would be horrible. Painkillers. Yes. This is the guy that makes me sad.
Cargo's in perfect condition. Looks like this is our lucky day.
Okay, cool. He didn't say the line. Excuse me? Silver hand? Jay has upgraded the compass. It can now be used to temporarily short-circuit enemy trucks. Select a truck in compass mode in order to disable it. Compass mode? What's compass mode? What's compass mode?
You know, I still can't believe we've got a guy like you on our side. Thanks again for everything.
Good work. New order.
Remember compass mode? No. Is it this? Is it that? Is it this? This is the map. What's compass mode? It's the first person mode? There's a first person mode? What? How? This? Huh? In the very beginning, in the beginning. Right. Well. About that. Jeebus, that's far. I was just there! I'm not going back to the roboticist. Are you crazy? To south, all the way to South Knot City? You're joking. Gas procured by terrorists. We can do this one. Fragile. And then take it to Mount Knot City. And then we do this one. Because that's part of the story. Let's do that one. Heavy load. Completing it on foot may prove to be difficult. Yeah. So, okay, what is this though? A device developed using cyberware that greatly increases the power of the user's left hand as long as the battery blah blah blah. Climbing with using your hands will not drain your endurance gauge. Well, the silver hand is equipped and it's easier to stop yourself sliding. Also, be able to climb ropes and ladders more quickly, pick up cargo more easily, and punch and throw more effectively. But be aware that using these will drain your back. Yeah, sure. Why not? Let's have a silver hand. Equip. Put on gloves. Do they amputate him? Oh, I need to go back into the thing. You can yeet nades across the country. Sure. Let me just throw this and hope I hit an enemy and not a civilian. Oh my goodness. Did they cut off his arm for this?
Your work is greatly
I think that was one thing about Apex Legends is that I got really sad. There was a skin for I think Mirage, and Mirage is like a silly goofy character, right? But he had a skin where he had cybernetic legs, so like it was robotic and stuff. And I was like, I got really sad because I was like, he lost his legs. I think I cried when I saw it. I was like, no, but it's just a skin. There's no reason to be... Anyway. I'm just peculiar in that way, I guess. We haven't worn our hat. Don't shake your head at me. Don't judge me, Sam Porter Bridges. Let's wear a hat today. He lost his legs! He looks so sad. We need to get BB back, so we're gonna deliver this and then go straight to the roboticist. Collect one or more containers of poison gas. Yeah.
Have a pleasant journey. Good morning.
We refilled our gun, right? Yep. We sure did. Wonder why they can't refill our blood bags. They collect our blood anyway.
Weapons restrictions lifted.
Look at this bridge. Yep. It's just right there. Nah. So good. He doesn't take damage from that, but he will if I like gently nudge a boulder. I feel like the completionist in me wants to build these roads, but there's nowhere to get materials. Are you guys awake? Can you come to me? They're not awake. They are awake. I see you. Come on. Let's just move a little bit in. A little more in cover. Be careful not to kill anyone, because hey buddy. Get out the car. Oh! Stupid. So rude. At least these guys are back. I still get my fight. Oh no. Okay. I'm out. I'm out. Next. Oh, I can disable cars. Oh, that was too late. Oh wait, but I don't know how to do. Sometimes I wonder if these are paths were made by players. Curiouser and curiouser. Would be cool if you like take a certain path enough and it starts to build a thing, you know? It starts to like change the terrain. Exactly like that. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Maybe in the future. Get Jaku into the dev room right now. Please don't run anyone over. There's a special there's so many special alloys here. But I need to get the chemicals. I just don't know where. Where did they hide? Ah, over there. It's over there. Because they look generated? These paths? Those? Did that area not have any people? Sorry, not people. This thing? Did it not have a lockbox? Ghost box? Oh boy. This'll surely fit. This is all going north. Oh, there's so much special alloys. I don't remember how much I had. 16... I think it was like 1680 or 20 out of 2,400 maybe? Whatever. I'll come back. Finally a pink truck. Hello, Miswa. How are you? Did you get your massage yet? I need another post box, but I don't know where they are. Oh, there's more people. Call your reinforcements. I'm here to shoot. They're waking them up. They're waking them up. They can do that. Boy. Oh, someone's shooting. Just gotta stand right here, right? You can't shoot me from here. Longer than 10 minutes. 10 minutes only. Man. That's not enough to get into the deep tissue. That's like... That's just enough to warm up the body. Yeah. A 10-minute deep tissue massage sounds stressful more than relaxing. I hope it was relaxing for you. It looks like I can still carry more. Look at all these special alloys. Wow. I'm gonna take it. It's fine. Oh, cancel. Never mind. We're full. We're going straight to... What is it called? Mountain Knot City? Straight to Mountain Knot. Yep, right up that mountain. Exactly. Did I get them all? Did it make the thing where it's like porters will be able to travel through here?
I ain't the same without you, kid.
He's so sad and lonely. Ah, that's a lot. Should I dump my materials here? I feel like I shouldn't, because there's a road that's already almost built too. Just not this one. I hear the rain. We're gonna go through here and hopefully hopefully we'll be okay. Is it saying there's more? Am I not done? Do I not have everything? Cargo. Did I do the thing where I put everything in my truck and then not accept? That might be it. Hold on. I think I didn't accept it. I think I canceled. So it's raining on these guys. Are they gonna turn old? Let me in. I didn't. Got it now, right? Done? Done. Okay, now we can go. Try reducing your cargo load? Ah, shoot. We're full on something. Certainly not my ceramics. If I put these on my back, I'll be fine, right? Come in. Yes! That's cool. I just needed to put stuff in my back. On my back. It said I had put something on the ground, but I didn't. Interesting. Alright, we charge and then we go. Maybe we don't need a charge. It's just right there. There's also another charger over there too. Because going too close over there, it starts the rain and I don't want that. We're manipulating the game settings, the game rules.
They out there, look.
He's so sad talking to the baby. We need to get to that mountaineer guy, roboticist guy in mountains. Did somebody build a bridge here yet? I feel like this road right here, it's where the highway is going to be. You know? See, this wasn't there before. Not a single
Alright.
person
Yeah, right.
has liked my charger. No longer on the power grid. No, but whose area is this? I should still be on the power grid. It's raining. That's fine, there's no ghosts here. I think this is part of the road still. That's why that one over there has so much materials required, because it builds all the way out here. Surely. Maybe it's not players that walk this, but like cars. This one's almost done. I wonder if I have... But then also, like, why? Sure. Tempted pew pew for more materials. I wish they gave me more materials. I wish the mules and terrors people would, like, reset as fast as the BTs do. Can I get rid of this? Nope. That's like all my medals. It's still not enough. You're joking. Oh, I could finish this right now. I just have to be willing to part with... Can I cancel this? Yeah. Take the excess, it's fine. A road! All the way out here! Oh. And it ends abruptly. Yay! It doesn't even go into Mountain Knot City. What do you mean? Oh, it does! It continues! It does, it does, it does! Yay! Strange that it switches immediately to rain and...
Beginning scan.
Did we not build
Operations
this?
ID. Verifying ID. Clear. Weapons restrictions lifted.
I can build this too. I can build this, I can build this right now. Too much. Oh no. I cannot build this right now. I can't... I cannot build this right now. I'm gonna go steal some metals from inside. Don't give me metals, right? You guys have metals for me, right?
Beginning scan. Scanning bridges ID.
It's
Verifying
always
ID.
the metals.
Clear. Weapons detected. All weapons will be locked until departure. Cargo verified. Decontaminating suit. All clear. Welcome, Sam Porter Bridges.
Sam Porter Bridges. Oh yeah, the Halloween emote. The pumpkin version of the heart is up. Claim materials. Give me metal. 50? Oh, I just need like 100. Just one. Not stealing, just recycling. Right. Reappropriating materials. Deliver cargo. 11 out of 20? There was more? I didn't know there was more. Where was the others? That's fine. Whatever. Take it. I didn't see it.
Hey, Sam. Welcome back.
Everybody
Tough
hydrate.
journey as always, I bet.
I got half.
Thanks. This'll make a lot of people happy.
Why do they need poison gas samples? Oh, I guess it's just so the terrorists don't have it. B. It's fine. It's fine.
We're going to get through this because of you. Thank you, Sam.
I think I need to go to the doctor too.
New order available.
There's no new orders available. I need a PCC level 2. I don't have one. I'll get 2 just because I don't have one. Oh, they're really low on. They're really low on chiral crystals. Should I give them some? Not yet. Not until I need it. I was thinking it was like important that they all have a certain amount of materials, but then I realized it's just for me. It's for my use. Let's build this road.
Beginning scan. Have a pleasant journey. Weapons restrictions lifted.
Yeah. Yeah. 10 extras. Fine. We built 2 roads. Oh. That kind of makes it harder to get to the doctor though, doesn't it?
Beginning scan. Scanning bridges ID.
What do I have?
Verifying ID.
Just the Mountaineer now. Okay. Well. That's a strange stop, like right there. It's just... Okay. Straight to here.
E. Clear.
But first we
Weapons
rest
detected.
and
All weapons will be
fix
locked
our
until
truck, because I think...
All
Yeah.
clear.
It's
Welcome,
banged up.
Sam Porter Bridges.
Hi, Sarah! Hello, hello! At Disneyland? Ooh! Take pictures! Send them to me! I hope you guys are having a lot of fun over there.
Welcome, Sam
It's
Porter
very
Bridges.
gloomy over here. Very cloudy. How are you guys?
Your work is greatly appreciated.
I wanna go to Disneyland. I wanna go to Disneyland. I stretch. Have y'all been hydrating? I realize on the days that I get my migraines, it's because I barely drink any water. just making sure. Just making sure. There's nothing waiting for me in my shower. We really need BB back. Trev had a Celsius and I had something a little stronger. Y'all. I don't... That doesn't count. Drink water. Electrolytes. What's Celsius? Is Celsius an energy drink? On top of the water. Okay, good. Okay. Mountaineer.
Good morning, Sam. Have a pleasant journey.
It says when you're on the road, it doesn't use up battery. So I can use the speed up thing, right? I can zoom. I can go super fast. I can go faster, faster. Oh no. Okay, wait. The road ends. You're joking. You're joking. Irina. Thanks for stopping by, Sarah. Take care. You too, Cherub. Love you, love you. Mama, mama. Have fun. So like... So it's like, is there like another way? We're gonna stall. I'm gonna stall. I'm gonna stall. I'm not gonna go there. No. No. It's fine. They don't need us right now, you know?
Scanning bridges.
It's okay.
Verifying ID. Clear. Weapons detect weapons.
It's not like an immediate necessity. This is so creepy. Ew, it moves when you touch it. All right. So yes, there is this road, but I feel like the dangerous part is right there. So I wonder if there is... I'm gonna leave my truck. Stop it. Right here. Do I have the PCC on me? I do. I wonder, stay right there. I wonder if there's another spot I can put up a bridge, you know? Like across there maybe. Not city winter clothes. Like right there, you know? Like what if it's like, you know? Or even what in the heck? Is that really the best place? What if straight over there? No? What if from over here? It blocks the sun. What if right here? What if right here? I don't know what's over there, but it looks safe. I don't need materials, do I? I think I do, actually. Shoot. I don't know what's over there. But it's definitely safer than losing all your stuff.
Get it done.
800 medals! I don't have 800 medals. It's just 800 medals though. Alright. Carefully go down. I need a lot of medals. I just don't remember where. Which thing was it? Okay, now we can go. That river is scary. Why'd they have to build it down there? And I think that bridge would connect to right here, which is fine, superior even.
I need the same without you, kid.
All right. I don't know if I will need my ammo pouch. I mean, it can... We gotta prepare
Beginning
blood
scan.
bags and stuff.
Scanning bridges ID. Verifying ID. Clear. Weapons decontaminating systems. All clear. Welcome, Sam Porter Bridges.
I don't think I did my... Hold on, one sec. I don't want to lose my streaks. There we go. I lost one of my streaks the other day with Blee. We were at 1,000 or no 2,000 something, and I was just like, and Snapchat was asking for like $1.99 to reinstate it, and I was like, I got 2 cents. I got 2 cents in my bank account. Private locker, give me my... I only have 1 blood bag? No way. This is a lot of ceramics that's gonna be lost if I get dragged out of my truck. Now you're free from that streak. We started a new one. We're at 3 days-ish. Can I combine these two? Alright, I have 5 blood bags. What is this? The doctor! I was just there! Okay, we're gonna go back there. But so the anti thing, as long as I use the blood bullets, it'll work on the BTs. So it's fine if I keep my if I keep my gun on me.
Beginning scan. Have a pleasant journey.
But if I get dragged out of my truck and I have to like put back all those ceramics and stuff into my truck. Nice. And then it tells me that it's raining again, like before. I'm going to write a complaint to the devs and be like, what is this BS? Tell me right now, what do you mean by this? I think they want me to use the, what is it called? The speed legs to get up there. But I'm not leaving my truck. But maybe I should, just in case I get kicked out
Beginning scan.
of my truck.
Scanning bridges ID. Verifying ID. Clear.
Oh, this guy has
All weapons will be
the
locked
blood
until
bag thing
departure.
too. Make delivery. Whoops, wrong one.
Hello, Sam. It's a pleasure to see you again. I must say, seeing you go about your business really does put a spring in my step. Do remember not to neglect your health.
Good work.
Okay.
New order available.
Should I take on these orders? Again? I mean, if I'm on foot, it should be fine, right? It just goes on my back, right? It's just like the old days.
Order assigned. Delivery parameters updated. Time limit set.
There's a time limit. I already lost a blood bag and I haven't even started fighting.
Take care, Sam.
Weapons restrictions lifted.
Fine. I was supposed to make blood bags over there. See, if it was just right here, there is a road over there. These guys chose like the hardest path to build a road in. I think we might need to go back there just for the... What is it called? For the blood bags. These will fit, right? Yes! Walking with your own legs. Not anymore. Zoom. Wait, that road wasn't there before. I explicitly remember. Stop it. Why is it that when I'm rushing is when it decides to start to need to do that to me? I think I think these roads are being generated depending on where the player is going.
Clear. Decontaminating suit. All clear. Welcome, Sam Porter Bridges.
I almost made it with the 1 minute thing. I definitely would have made it if I had that other road. That's not it.
Hey, Sam. Look, I'm sorry to impose on you once again, but
What?
we wouldn't ask if it wasn't important.
What?
Wow, how did you get this here so fast? I tell you, you never fail to impress.
I'm just that good.
We're going to get through this because of you. Thank you, Sam.
Apparently I have lost cargo on me?
Order available. Please access delivery terminal for further.
No. I want that for myself. Hey, so you guys have 2,656 medals. What if I procured some of that? You know? Yeah. Put it all on my back. In exchange, I shall give you... I shall give you a whole lot of chiral crystals. I'll even look at her face. I love that it all fits in that little can. Little soda can.
Thank you for your continued support.
I just spazzed.
Thank you for your contribution.
She gives me the heebie-jeebies.
Beginning scan.
Antibiotics for the mountaineer. Roboticist is the one that's in the snow.
Weapons restrictions lifted.
Okay, on our way back, we'll build the speed legs. You see, Jaka, this wasn't here before. This road, it wasn't here before. I swear it was like rocks and stuff. I'm pretty sure it is generated by player footpaths. So we're gonna build this bridge. I'm gonna name it the Ellie Bridge. Ooh. We'll come back for that. See? Now there's a path on the other side. Complete structure. Yeah. Yeah.
Please stand clear of the designated construction area.
Bum.
Please stand clear of the designated construction area.
Me, I'm the foreign object detected. Let me get my blood bag back.
Beginning scan. Scanning bridges ID. Verifying ID.
Yeah.
Clear. Weapons detected. All weapons will...
Actually, I can just recycle all my blood bags, right, and make new ones here. Recycle. Peace. 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 And give you some chiral crystals just because I have so many. And I'm so generous.
Thank you for your continued support.
Blood bag. It's only giving me the regular one. How do I get the big one? Was I lied to? Did you lie to me? Did you lie to me, old man? All terrain is the one we're talking about, right? It's not speed. All terrain. Is it speed? No. That was for the other place. All terrain is the one, I think. Okay. Well, I guess I gotta get rid of all my blood bags for no reason. Smile. Smile. Utility pouches. On the back. And then the all-terrain one. Let's put it on. Whoa. Power one. The power one can go away. It's heckin' damaged.
Thank you for your continued support.
One climbing anchor, one ladder, one PCC. Good enough, right? Man, I like the power one. I wish we had it at level 2, but I don't remember where we got it from. But the speed one is level 2. I don't know how we managed that. Put it to the boot clip, and then we should be good to go. I have no
Thank you for your
excuse now.
contribution. Weapons restrictions lifted.
I'm just gonna go ahead and give this my Corellia because I can. Alright, so I shouldn't be falling anymore, right? Or is it just wading through rivers that's easier? My bridge is better than yours. Oh. I can't shift in reverse. See, this wasn't here before. Ooh, I wonder if I could have done here to over there.
Stay out there low.
Too late though. You know, it's an okay. It gets you to where you want to go. Now it'll be so much easier to get there next time we have to go there. You know? Is it raining? Gross.
Beginning scan.
So we're gonna do
Scanning
one more
Bridges
rest.
ID. Verifying ID. Clear. Weapons detected. All weapons will be locked until departure. Cargo verified.
I'm sorry I didn't see you. I'm so sorry.
Good morning, Sam.
We're starting to see them more and more though. I nearly ran someone over. Okay. Make delivery. Lost cargo. Don't store the ceramics, because I want that. It's for me.
Hey, Sam. Welcome back.
Welcome back.
Tough journey as always, I bet. Thank you so much. You've helped a lot of people in ways you don't even know. We're going to get through this because of you. Thank you, Sam.
Good work.
Okay.
New order available. Please access delivery terminal for further information. Your work is
Just to repair the task, and then we're going. Hopefully it'll be easy. When is it ever easy? Alright, we'll do the ponytail. I really feel like he would have been great for Silent Hill. Shall we stall one more time? Smile. Your partner Jay. I still only have barely one star with him. Be the man, Sam. That fourth chip you recovered had schematics for an artificial arm. No bargain bin chrome neither, but quality cyberware worth real scratch. Makes you faster, stronger, all that jazz, and yep, tapatio. This model was custom made by Arasaka for some choom named Johnny. Wasn't any other info about the core on the chip, but that name, Arasaka. It rang a big bell. Or did it? Not sure. It felt like a memory, but was it mine? Either way, name. Don't make me think of nothing good. Got lead in my belly just saying it. You guys are lucky those terrorists didn't crack the chip's encryption. Text a tool, I mean, and in the wrong hands. Well, I doubt I gotta tell you how that story goes. Use the data to whip you a new toy, by the way. Dubbed it the Silver Hand in honor of old Johnny. It'll help you rebuild America and knock some lights out. I upgraded your compass again too. You can now use it to short circuit trucks. Turns out their security systems are as shitty as their sensor poles. Only works on one vehicle at a time though, and only for a short stint. Still ought to prove useful. Have fun. How do I go into the compass mode? Because I can't remember.
Good beginning, Sam. Have a pleasant journey.
Alright, here we go. Oh, they still haven't left. Is there a path that way? so heckin' scared right now. Alright. Here we go. Is it not raining anymore? Lucky, no rain, let's go! Until it says otherwise. No rain. I stalled enough! Yay! I don't know what this is, but... G button. Alright. I'm not carrying anything big. And it's like free, you know? Why shouldn't I? It would be cool if the trucks that people leave behind have materials in them. Maybe they're like me. And they also... I need an all-terrain truck. You know? I bet they were like, players will go on this journey on foot. And I'm over here like... Distribution center south? That's far. Weather station.
Yeah, out there go.
I'm over here like, I got a truck. Roboticist. Oh boy. Okay, that is the... I'm about to lose everything, aren't I? What do you mean? It's right there. Am I stuck? All right. Oh no. Oh no, oh no. Mm-hmm. No, 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 no. No, 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 no. We're not doing it like that. We're doing it like... Okay, fine. We can climb this way. This way works. No, 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 no. Listen, where there's a will, there is certainly a way. Wait. Ah! Ah! It's gotta be stubborn enough. It's fine. We'll find another way. There should be an easier ramp to go up. What the hell was that? Right. So it's snowing now. Now we turn around and go this way. It's still on the way. Yup. Okay. Yup. It's right there. Oh no. There's a lot of grunting, Sam Porter Bridges.
Beginning scan.
We made it!
Bridges ID. Fragile Express ID verified. Weapons detected. All weapons will be locked until departure. Cargo verified. Thank you.
Woo! Where there's a will, there's a way. Excuse me? Excuse me? Is it just too far? Huh? Okay. Come on. Yeah.
Thank you.
Whoa.
I gave her the medicine.
Would you like to be connected to the chiral network?
She says she's feeling better already.
What was it?
I'm not
Antibiotics?
kidding myself. Even if they did work that fast, the doctor said she needs a lot more than antibiotics. She's carrying our child. I want her looked at as soon as possible. Please, I need you to go to the doctor for me. He's got some kind of machine. Thinks it might help. I couldn't make out the details. Damn connection kept dropping out. But someone needs to go and fetch it. Take anything you need from that shelf. Hell, just
I have to
take
come
all of
back?
it.
Would you like to connect to the chiral network? I'm sure it will be
New
easier
order
for you.
available. Please access delivery terminal or further.
Come on. You're joking. I have to come back. Urgent.
The client's requested that you complete this order as soon as possible. In other words, speed will determine your eval. Keep in mind, however, that when operating outside network coverage, you won't be able to fabricate additional items. You'll need to choose carefully from the equipment provided by the client. Now, the clock won't start until you set out. So, take your time to get your gear in order before you do.
This guy. Cargo shelf. Is this from him? I don't need a floating carrier. I don't even know what of this I have. Well, I'll just...
Order assigned. updated. Time limit set. Sam, in light of the patient's condition, I've gone ahead and put a time limit on this order. You can still deliver the cargo after it runs out, and I want you to move hell and earth to get there before it does. I know we keep piling things on you, but your BB unit can wait a little longer.
No one
And
can.
besides, beefing up the chiral network there should help it get better faster.
Do people just jump right off? Listen. Do people just jump right off? You're joking. I'm coming. I'm going the way I came.
Beginning scan. Scanning bridges ID. Fragile Express ID. Weapons detected.
I already forgot the way that I came though. This way. Here. To here. To here. To here. To here.
All weapons will be locked until departure. All clear. Weapons restrictions lifted.
No, it's that way. I need a charger, is what I need. Because if I get caught in the rain, like this, hi Evan, how are you? Oh,
Yeah, right.
it's fine. Jump. Not that much, Jesus. Come on. Yep. Yep. I know how to drive this truck. Okay, buddy. Let's go. The battery's running. Calm down, Sam Porter Bridges. See, we made it. We made it. Doctor, painkillers. I need to turn this into anyway. I may have a time limit, but fighting for his life in there. Yeah. He needs more, he needs the memory foam seats. I'm just happy I didn't have to do that in the rain. Oh, that one charged really fast. I guess I need to like level up my chargers, huh? It's a good thing I built that road ahead of time. Look at this speed demon. Ooh.
Beginning scan. Scanning bridges ID. Verifying weapons restrictions.
LA-proof foam seats, yeah. What is this now? What is this? Someone... No way. 26,000? Someone built a bridge right here? To get to my thing, right? Careful now. Careful now. Careful. 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 Wouldn't want anything to go wrong here. Yep. Hey.
Sam,
What?
access the delivery terminal.
Okay.
All weapons will be locked until departure. Cargo verified.
I was already going to do that.
There you are. The Mountaineer just contacted me. The treatment I prescribed isn't working. We need to act fast. I hoped the antibiotics would alleviate the worst of the symptoms, but it looks like we're past that stage. An infection like this so late in the pregnancy can cause any number of complications. Even if she survives, there is a risk she could suffer brain damage.
Jeepers,
brain
pregnancy sucks in this
Now,
world.
I need you to deliver this prototype bioprinter and remote medical terminal to the Mountaineer.
Great.
If you can connect them to me via the chiral network, I can use this equipment to diagnose the patient's condition and provide treatment. The terminal will allow them to transmit their genetic code, with which I can formulate a DNA vaccine for printing. At present, only vaccines utilizing viruses and other non-living components can be generated in this fashion.
They should have just connected when I
Future
was there.
advancements may free us of this limitation. It should go without saying, but this is delicate equipment. Don't break it, whatever you do. Oh, and thank you.
Load it all into the truck. I guess on my back. Yes. You good there, Sam Porter Bridges? This one's not being timed anymore. Will I have time to repair my truck? Never mind. Alright.
Weapons restrictions
Gently. Gently. La-di-da. Listen. It's a lot safer than the other bridge, isn't it? Exactly. I wonder if other people built a bridge over there too, and then it broke or something, like how the roads break.
Beginning scan. Scanning bridges ID. Verifying weapons restrictions lifted.
Let's hope that it's not snowing anymore. Because going up is a lot slower. No rain, no rain, no rain, no rain, no rain, no rain. Woo! Okay. Okay. Come on now.
Alright. Yeah, right.
Aww. And look, there's a road here now. There wasn't this earlier. This is where I was driving. This is where I drove earlier. What is this? Freshwater distribution center. It's an XL delivery. I need to. Come on, come on, come on. Catcher, catcher, catcher. No, 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 no.
Stay out there, Lou.
Over here, friend. Who? Who's talking to me? Oh, are these guys telling me where to go? Thanks. Will jumping use up more battery? See, whose footsteps are these? Certainly not mine. We're gonna dip a little bit into the rain.
Yeah, right.
Give me the head pats. Ooh. Good call on that, Jafu. I don't think I noticed it before. With the whole, hey! Dads and driver, you didn't see me earlier. Ooh, you didn't see last stream, huh? Hop, skip. What's going on? Come on now. Oh, you spoke a little too soon. All good, all good, all good, all good, all good. I clenched. If you look at how the roads leave the facilities, it looks sus. Sus how? My glasses! My gangly bits. Whatever you do, don't redeem hydrate. I've yet to fix it. Here you go, sir.
You're here.
My slippers.
She's barely holding on. It's a good thing you hurried.
How do you know I hurried? I could have taken my time. Ooh, we got +2 on delivery time.
The doctor said we need a chiral connection for this to work. So, hook us up. We'll join the UCA, whatever it takes. Go ahead.
UCA. That's definitely a stronger reaction than before. Ta-da! I thought he was like that one. Was it David Harbour guy? I don't remember his name. Bridges boots level 3. Nice. Power gloves. Ooh. Prep interview the Mountaineer. Now we'll see where all the other players walked here.
Doctor?
Okay, I'll activate the terminal from my end. Just a moment. Everything's gonna be all right. With this device, I can examine her as if I were actually there. The manipulators on the terminal perfectly reflect my movements here. And with a bioprinter, I can provide a custom-made vaccine. It's just a shame my better half hasn't had a chance to build any more of these things. You're looking at the only ones we have. Don't worry, though. We'll do everything we can to ensure your child is safely delivered.
Oh, thank you.
The wife?
This is incredible.
You should thank him. The network he's helping to build is going to change the face of medicine forever.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Let's have a look at you.
His
You brought
better
us
half, huh?
The next best thing to a live-in, Dr. Sam. Thank you so much.
Nicely done. BB-28 will be back in action soon. The kid's a real trooper. Stay the course, Sam.
Still not yet.
Heads up, Sam. Got a fresh order for you from a certain mountaineer. It'll take you to a region not yet covered by the chiral network.
Another mountaineer?
Suffice it to say, this is a chance to change that. Look into it as soon as you can.
It's just one mission after another.
Good work. New order available. Please access delivery terminal.
Ooh,
for
we
further
can see it from
information.
here. Where are we? What part of the USA is that? I wouldn't know. I'm not from here. Photographer. Okay, good. It's down the mountain. BT territory, though. Bridges and boots, level 3. Power.
Oh, you're gonna love power gloves. They provide a major boost to arm and grip strength. If you're scaling a cliff with a rope, you'll be able to make your way to the top a lot faster.
When's the last time I
You'll also
climbed a
notice a
rope?
difference when lifting heavy cargo. And that's not all. Ever take a tumble down a steep slope? You probably tried to slow your descent with your hands, right? Well, if you've got these on, you'll be able to stop yourself that much more quickly. Just promise me you won't try punching someone, okay? That's not what they're for.
Let's punch someone. Covered with spikes that improve grip and hand function, and will make it easier to stop yourself sliding as long as battery power is available. Climbing using your hands will not drain your endurance gauge while these gloves are equipped. You'll also be able to climb ropes and ladders more quickly, pick up cargo more easily, and punch and throw more effectively. But be aware that using these functions will drain your battery. Be sure to keep an eye on your battery levels. But will it unequip the Johnny arm? We're just gonna be on our south. Oh, that's far. That's all the way on the other side. I thought it was close.
Order
Dang,
assigned.
okay. Why are there X marks? Oh, that's where we need to go. Got it. Let's see. There is a path. You see this? It's very faint, but I see it. I don't know if it goes all the way through. I think it does. The roboticist has hot springs too. This is definitely a path, isn't it? Thank you for my ribbon. Where am I? Okay. Caution. Caution. Target. Heavy rain or snow. There's a safe house right there. Let's get into the safe house. It's right there. Yeah, because our truck looks... Yikes. Very rusted. Let's...
Keep on keeping on.
Never stop, Sam.
Don't you dare.
Weapons restrictions lifted.
See. like covered in snow and everything. They didn't even like give him earmuffs. Truck repaired. So he doesn't shower before going to sleep,
Sam.
but he does
Blood
take off his
collection complete.
ponytail.
Thank you for your generosity.
Also, his arm's back. How many of these quests do we have to do till we get BB back? Oh. The game said, you haven't showered in a while, stinky boy. Here's 4 grenades. You had enough gunk in you to fill up 4 grenades. You like pass out immediately? I don't know. Probably. Was he always in white? Does it just change depending on his location? Are we always wearing white? I don't recall. It is the right path. It is the path other players take. The one that I took?
Scanning Bridges ID. Verifying ID.
It usually is dark blue, right?
All weapons will be locked until departure. Weapons beginning scan. Scanning. Weapons restrictions lifted.
Other players take this route. Gonna blend into the environment with our bright purple, pink. I swear it's pink, but it looks purple. It's like a hot magenta. My glasses are back. I don't know when they came back, but they're back. Oh boy. Yeah. See this road? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Certainly is the way people go, yep. That guy's never getting another order. I mean, I guess it's like easy enough to remember. As long as it's not raining, I'll come back. So I'm not going up this with BTs. You joking? Are you kidding me? No one else is like building generators though. Like my truck. Have mercy, y'all. I wonder what this is. What is this about? Now I can zoom. I love being on the roads. You can go so fast. Didn't touch the rain at all. What is this supposed to be? There's no charger here. Am I being lied to? There's a charger here.
Scanning Bridges ID. Verifying ID. Weapons restrictions lifted.
We don't need to go here. Where's the photographer? It's raining there. I suppose we can go the route that we usually take this way and then around, you know? I remember where to go. I don't need to be on the road. Oops. Okay. So we are rear wheel drive.
Verifying ID. Clear. All weapons will remain locked All clear. Welcome, Sam Porter Bridges.
Welcome, Sam Porter Bridges. I think it's this way. Whoop! Okay. So there's a road here, but it is not the highway. Unless... No! Low roar! Leave me alone! This heckin' band group, whatever. I accept my fate, I guess. Y'all ready to get the VOD muted? Maybe we're supposed to just vibe along, you know? No more yapping. Just listen and sway to the music. I guess. It's like peaceful. The thoughts I tried to sway would not behave. I'm waiting for you to be later. Wait. Getting rid of this. Should I get rid of all my stuff? This is never gonna be built. You know what? Yeah. Oh, did I cancel the music? Oh well. I did. I just have to cross. Sure, yeah, there's BTs, for sure. We just have to cross here. 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 And then go down. Yup. Avoid the rain. Oh, they're awake. They're actually awake. I'm getting shot at already. Now, let's not be rash. Oh, my battery. My battery! Those dummies. No rain, please. Dodging rain clouds. No. Oh, okay. I thought that was the rain. It's just the river. Need a mod? Can I do that? Is there a mod to get rid of the rain? Computer, delete BTs. Computer, delete the weather.
Beginning scan. Scanning bridges ID. Fragile.
Oh, that was so easy. I'm here.
All weapons will be locked until departure. Cargo verified. Thank you.
It sucks. I was just starting to jam to this song too, and then it got canceled. I decided to accept my fate, and it was like, no, you're too happy about this. Never mind. I take it back. Ah.
You're from Bridges, right? You don't have anything else for me, do you?
No? Why?
No? Okay. Never mind.
What? What else do you want?
Never thought I'd receive a delivery in
Just
such
enough to meet the
excellent
VOD.
condition.
Hey, would you like to join the chiral network? Rolling over. Would you like to hear about our Lord and Savior,
Hey, I
Amelie,
have a
whatever
favor to
her
ask.
last name is?
Do you think you could find my father's camera for me? It's kind of a long story, but he used to conduct field research in the area.
Okay.
My father believed that the key to understanding the Death Stranding was hidden here, somewhere in the caves and strata.
We're going into the
But he
caves.
passed away before he could complete his work, leaving me to finish what he started. And not long ago, I found something amazing. I was sure it was what my father had been looking for, even if I couldn't see how it related to the Death Stranding myself. What I needed was an expert opinion, someone who could look at what I'd found and tell me what it meant. So, I grabbed my father's camera and set out to document my discovery. Took pictures of every last detail. But on the way back, I spotted a group of armed men
So we fight.
I
Got
panicked,
it.
dropped everything and ran like hell. Thankfully, they never saw me, but when I stopped running, I realized the camera was gone, case and all. I've been trying to pluck up the courage to go and look for it ever since.
Got it, got it.
But then
Come on, your
I
backstory's too
remembered that
long.
the cargo tag was still on the case. And I figured, you being with bridges and all, that you might have a way to pinpoint its location. Please, I'd give anything to have it back. I'm gonna put in the order. Please understand, that camera means everything to me.
Yep.
There's a terminal there you can use if you want to get started right away.
Yeah.
It's what I'd take if I were going myself. Knock yourself out.
She gives me like 1,000,000 guns.
Good work. New order.
What were you going in there with? Yeah. Level 1's riot shotgun. Oh, she was ready. She was ready. I'm good. I don't need any of that. I have my own.
Order assigned.
Funny though. She was like, I got all these guns and this shotgun and these grenades. Take what you need, please. Just get me that camera back. Alright, girly. I got you.
Weapons restrictions lifted.
Just gotta avoid the rain and I'll be right back. I do need to charge my truck. Should I just cut straight across? It is raining though. Oh, it's not. The rain has ended. I'll just cut straight across then. We can enter from the south. We'll take out the people down there first. And then...
Hello.
Camera's drenched by now. Yeah, it's probably like damaged, aged beyond repair. Back on the network. Let me charge my truck. And then I'll be right there. There's this online game that I kind of want to do with you guys, but it requires typing and listening and music knowledge. I feel like I'd be really good at it, but I don't know if it would be as fun if I was the one answering all the questions. Hey everybody!
Sam. Find our missing cargo. Huh. Looks like someone's carrying it around.
Right. straight into the air, transporter bridges. Surely they will, surely they'll jump up and catch a bullet to the noggin. Donut shoot my car? Oh. Ooh, he's gonna pass out in the water. You heckin' hecker. Oh, you're right here. Okay. Okay. Where am I? Okay. Okay. One of these will hit, surely. I'm out! Reloading. Alright, I'm coming for you. Shoot, fire. Camera. Oh, that was all of them. If I come down from south, they all come here. Oh, there it is. Camera. Yoink. What else do you guys have for me? Special alloys? I'm good. I'm a lot braver now that I know how to fight, right? This is why I can't play those games where you're forced to run around without being able to fight. You know? Like Outlast. I hate those games. Isn't in Outlast all you do is run? Run away? I don't know if I believe it. Spirit skeleton. Oh. I'll take this. Thank you. Pretty much, yeah. I feel like that's what makes it scary. Because once you fight back, it's not as scary anymore. Like, I was scared of the BTs until they gave me a way to fight back. And then I didn't know that in Silent Hill you also fight back in Silent Hill. game would be much more spooky if you didn't get to fight back and didn't have vehicles. Should I not be wearing... Oh, here they are again. Hello. Low roar. I don't even know where... This way?
Beginning scan. Scanning bridge.
Just kidding!
Fragile Express ID verified. Weapons detected. All weapons will be locked until departure. Cargo
I feel like the
verified.
music should be saved for when you're walking. Whoops. Hello, photographer. I have your camera. You can keep your weapons.
Wow. Thank you. I was afraid I'd never see it again.
Give me back my BB. Would you like to join our chiral network?
Oh, thank God. It looks exactly like it always did.
Exactly.
You don't know what this means.
Her voice got really raspy. Aw, not enough for a full star? Who the heck are you?
It was my father's idea to move all the way out here. He thought he could get to the bottom of the Death Stranding all by himself.
Loser.
And we were right behind him. But look where it got us.
Time to join the network.
If you hadn't come along when you did, the camera would be gone, and all our hard work would have been lost before anyone had a chance to see it.
Jonathan coming up with the extra hard mode.
The world needs to hear about this. Someone out there will know what it means. So, connect us up. We want to be a part of the UCA.
Back in my day. We had to walk all the way over here. There were no highways. And then it rained. And things sucked your soul. A shotgun! A riot shotgun! How about a non-lethal weapon? I can't kill people. Who's that?
I truly hope
Oh,
our
there's
work
so much
will help
clearer
to
now.
make a difference.
Oh, you see?
Thanks again.
Oh.
I hope we get to meet again before too long.
Sam, it's Hartman. That camera you recovered contains some fascinating footage. The data stored on it was automatically shared with us after you added the photographer's shelter to the network, along with her father's research materials.
Jeez, there's no privacy.
Anyway, my lab still doesn't have a high-speed chiral connection, but I was able to check one of the images against a database at HQ. Based on my preliminary calculations and the photographic and documentary evidence in our archives, I would estimate the paintings to be in the region of 30,000 years old, if not older.
Okay.
The artists were likely Neanderthals or other precursors who were migrating across the continent. See the dolphin-like creatures there? At the time, the cave would have been situated even farther from the coast than it is now. So how could the artists possibly have encountered dolphins? Answer: they couldn't. It is my belief that they had a brush not with dolphins, but with beach things. And that would mean the Death Stranding is not the first phenomenon of its kind.
Phenomenon.
That it has happened before. Since the birth of our planet, countless species have gone extinct, from bacteria to dinosaurs. Scientists refer to the largest known mass extinctions as the Big Five. But there have, of course, been many other extinction events, albeit on a smaller scale. What if the artists were trying to document one such event? That
Everybody?
of their own extinction. It would be the first
Shrimp.
record in Earth's history of a Death Stranding. And it would also lend credence to my theories. The sooner you come and connect me to the network, the sooner we'll know. Just imagine the mysteries we'll be able to solve. I'll be waiting, Sam.
Hydrate, thank
Wonderful
you.
news, Sam. BB-28's vitals are nearly within optimal operating parameters.
Nearly?
Just before I called, it opened its eyes. It was looking all over, as if searching for someone.
Me.
And then, our eyes met. For a moment, I think. I tell you, it was almost enough to make me want to keep the kid for myself. Anyway, I still need to run diagnostics and make adjustments as needed. However, the fluctuating local chiral levels could pose a problem. Think you can bring one more site into the network? Once you have, and once I have subsequently confirmed that AB is functioning reliably, I'll release it into your custody. This is the last step. I promise.
Got it.
Just one more site. That's all we should need. Good luck.
One more site and then we'll have BB back.
Please access delivery terminal or further.
Sam, I see you received a mail from our Mountaineer friend. Seems he's got an order for you. Might be good to give it a look.
Okay, yeah, but like... BB... What about BB? What about Lou? Me and the wife are good, but need a little something. Dear Sam, my wife is doing great now, and it's all thanks to you. You couldn't have demonstrated more clearly the type of support the UCA has to offer. I don't know much about the chiral network, but I know we're a part of it now. And that things are better that way. Oh, I have a friend nearby I'd like you to deliver something to. Could you drop by when you have the time? Got it! When I'm in the area. In the rare chance that I'm in the area. But for now... No? No? Okay, we'll do this and then this to get to the Mountaineer. I think the Mountaineer has our quest. So we're gonna do this and this one. I'm not using... I'm not using a shotgun. Are you serious? What if I kill them and they're like, take these bodies to the incinerator? What if though? You know? Should we? Should we try killing someone? Oh, it's raining again. We must take the long way. Oh look, a charger. Lovely.
Weapons restrictions lifted.
Is this the catapult? Is this the cannon? The cargo cannon? You think we can just deliver this like this? Can I reach all the way to the other side? You know what? I don't need this empty... Just kidding. I don't need... Man, can I shoot? Ugh. What do I not care about? One blood bag. Yup. Let's just try it. It doesn't really go that far. So does it break if I don't open the parachute? That's crazy. Safe to say that's never gonna be used. It doesn't even reach the mule's base. Would be funny if it did. It's raining. I have to go the long way around. I mean, it's right there. No. We will have to go the long way. Oh, somebody built a bridge. This wasn't here before, or was it? No, it wasn't here before. Nice. Hey! What's this? We'll take a rest inside that shelter too. Go ahead and scan me. I've knocked out all your people. I was gonna say kill, but I hope not. Material is ruined. Is that me? Is that my fault? That wasn't there before. Someone built a cannon right there?
Your work is
okay. Go to Eep. Oh god, this is the all green one. Ew. Ew. Leave immediately. Ew. Oh, we didn't shower. He's still dirty. Sorry about that, Sam Porter Bridges. Now he's wearing like the dark color, you know? It's like a dark slate gray color. Dark blue. Does his thing change colors on its own? Super cool color changing jumpsuit. Can you deliver some poison gas to the mules with the cannon? That would be hilarious. Promptly forget to open the parachute. It just explodes. Isn't that against the... I want that. Isn't that against like some kind of rules of engagement somewhere?
Right. Yeah, right.
Isn't that some kind of convention thing? I mean, does that country even exist here anymore? I don't remember seeing Sam sign anything. Yes, but he represents Bridges. Bridges probably signed something. But you're right. You're right. You're right. You're right. Load a corpse into it. No. Absolutely not. It's not raining here. What do you mean?
I need to sing without you, kid.
He misses his BB so bad. Let's do the Mountaineers quest real quick so he can get his BB back. Get this man his bridge baby back. Too far away from our blood bag, the one that we launched into nothingness. We're going to the doctor. You can do that now because it's easy to get there. keep thinking that this road isn't gonna be here anymore. Did we need to go here? Was there something here?
Scanning bridges ID. Verifying ID.
I don't recall.
Clear. Weapons detected. All weapons.
I do. There is one cargo.
Decontaminating soon. All clear. Welcome, Sam Porter Bridges.
Welcome, Sam Porter Bridges. I think they've moved the doctor into this facility.
Hey, Sam. We wouldn't ask him.
Skip.
Wow, you...
Skip.
I mean, honestly, you'd be hard...
Skip, fast forward, skip.
We're going to get through... Thank you, Sam.
I got places to be.
Good work.
Things to do. Standard orders. Anything for the doctor? I'm going to the Mountaineer, so I may as well take that. Photographer. Nope. To the doctor. Yes. Medical body scanner equipment. The doctor, yes. And also the Mountaineer. Look at us being productive.
Order assigned.
I'm speed running Dead Man's chapter because I want my bridge baby back. It's so sad. He named the baby Lou.
Beginning scan. Have a pleasant journey.
That's his Tamagotchi. You can't do that to him.
Weapons restrictions lifted.
Slowly. There, it's Mama. I love that people are putting Mama's hologram on things. She's not gone. Not if we have anything to say about it. Okay, now, come on. Am I just... Is it my driving that's ruining these things, or what? Like...
Beginning scan. Scanning bridges ID. Verifying ID.
Surely not my driving, right? My driving is impeccable, actually.
Cargo verified. Thank you.
Make delivery. All of this is for you, Doctor. There's that woman with that dead stare.
Oh, good. Excellent. Everything appears to be in perfect condition.
If only I could see the memories of my Tamagotchi. I wonder where mine is. I think I still have. I think a few years ago, Ven and I got Tamagotchi, and we would just like cargo damage. What do you mean? From what? I have been good. Olive drab.
Oh, by the way, I came across something I
It was
thought
the kind you
might
could
find
connect
useful.
it to the
More
internet.
than welcome to it.
I don't remember what happened to it. But I was trying to get a cute one. High capacity blood bags. EA. Utility pouch. This one. Mountaineer? God.
Do remember not to neglect your health.
I thought he said that I could craft them here.
Good work. New order available.
Anything to the Mountaineer? Time sensitive. I don't know about that. I don't know about that. You can go into the vehicle. Backup fuel? Okay, yeah. Oh my god. Oh my god, there's so many. What got offloaded? I can't offload those. Hold on. This goes into my private locker. Something else will need to go. All my medals. All my ceramics. Okay. And then these go back in. Come on, stop scrolling all the way to the bottom. What is this? No! Good. Yes.
Order assigned.
45
Delivery
minutes.
parameters updated. Time limit set.
45 minutes. Everything's good. Now let's just carefully do this. Okay. Oh, don't do this to me.
Weapons restrictions
Don't do
lifted.
this to me. Don't do 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 this to me again. Come on.
Scan. Scanning bridges ID. Verifying ID. Clear. Weapons detected. All weapons will be locked until departure. All clear. Weapons restrictions lifted.
Slowly. Slowly. These are somebody else's materials that are breaking, and not me. Not mine. So, it's gonna be very unfortunate if I go back that way and it's raining. Let's see. Where is he? I don't even know where he is. Roboticist. Okay, it's not raining. We're good. We're good. So let's rush it, shall we? Shall we rush it? They want me to get it delivered ASAP? I got you.
Beginning scan. Scanning bridges ID.
Whoa, another can. I'm seeing these cannons everywhere now. All of my materials is in the doctor's place, so we have to go back there too and get them all. They wanted this delivered as soon as possible. What's that? 800? I don't have space. I'll come back for it though. Ah, you can't do this to me. You can't do this to me. No. Can't dangle loot in front of my eyes. Not expect me to like Twitch a little. Audio is breaking. Shoot. 1 sec. Is it fixed? Is it better now? Oh, this guy has so much lost cargo. Another lost cargo. Thank you. Yeah, I don't notice when it's broken, unfortunately. I wonder if I should put a charging thing right here. Charging tower, right? I built it a little too high, so they won't show the newer players. Not that there's any newer players, but it'll work for me.
Construction complete.
So slow at level 1. I didn't realize what the difference was. How different it was. No rain.
You alright? Yeah, right.
Okay now. Okay now. Why does it insist on launching itself? Carefully. 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 It's fine.
Beginning scan. Scanning, beginning scan. Scanning bridges ID. Verifying ID. Clear. Weapons detected. All weapons will be locked until departure. Cargo verified. Thank you.
All right, let's get our
Sam
bridge
Bridges.
baby back.
There's someone we need you to deliver a package to.
Ugh,
She's
come on.
a strange bird. It lives even higher up in the clouds than we do.
Oh, great.
And the research she's doing, well, it's out there and then some. And we're talking straight up occult stuff, though she wouldn't be very happy hearing me say so. And she claims she's delving into the mysteries of the cosmos.
There always has to be one.
I found this rock out in the mountains with a handprint on it. And when I mentioned it to her, she got all excited. I honestly don't know what kind of close encounter she thinks it signifies.
Aliens.
But I was wondering if you could bring it to her for me. And joining the UCA has opened my eyes to a few things. Like how there are all these people out there trying to make sense of the Death Stranding in their own way. And sure, her ideas may sound like the ravings of a lunatic to me, but they clearly mean something to her, and I'd like to help her out. With your assistance, that is. You'll find an official order on the terminal.
Okay. I have so much cargo for you. So much.
And thank you for coming. To think you got this here without so much as a single scratch to show for it. You gotta give me a few tips sometime.
S for Sawsome. Are we at... Oh, Luden's mask, express purple. Backpack color, express purple. How is that different from what we have right now? Eh? We're maxing out the stars for this guy. See, all the XL deliveries is that. Delivery time 20.
And by the way, I got you a little something.
New purple.
It's not much, but if it makes your life easier.
Flag? Oh, thanks. Custom chiral climbing anchor. Ooh, 2 of them? Cool. That's a lot of stuff. Thanks. I guess. I guess I could have put down my custom
It's been a pleasure.
alloys or whatever.
Good work.
All right.
New order available. Please access delivery.
Cold resistant materials lost during delivery. You're joking. Even further up in the mountains. It's part of the quest. Ugh. 4? You're going into the truck. What do you mean 4? That's going in the truck. These special alloys. I needed to build the thing, so I can't put it away. Ooh. Boop, 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 boop.
Sam.
Yes?
It's just like the one at South Knot City. A vortex loaded with so much chiralium that it's almost off the charts. Slowly but surely, it's creeping closer to us here in Mountain Knot. At least that's what I think, but I can't see it. Not with the naked eye. But the data doesn't lie. It's the same temporal phenomenon that you told me dropped you in a war zone.
I told you. But that wasn't.
The Cupid's limiter can handle most chiral spikes, but we didn't plan for another supercell.
Another supercell.
Uh-oh.
I told you it was the same as before.
Mama, is that you?
You got me, Sam. It's been a while. But not really. Mulligan, Lochna, we're the same. One body, one mind, one being. There's no point in trying to draw a distinction. Not in this world. We're all connected. Remember that.
Uh-huh, okay.
Order assigned.
I just don't like that she... Like... Yeah, sure, whatever. Whatever. I can't really express how I feel about Lochna's character. Alright, how do we get there? We have to go through... That's a bridge, right? I feel like we need to go on foot with this. You know? This is something you need to do on foot. Should this be Monday's problem? I feel like this should be Monday's problem. Oh yeah, next week I will not be streaming on Tuesday. I've got another appointment. But I will be streaming Monday and Wednesday.
Your
At
work
least.
is greatly appreciated, Sam.
Let's take a rest. See, his clothes are like blue inside, but when we're outside, it's like white. Why? Good morning, Sam.
Good mornings.
Time should have passed, right? It's not gonna be raining anymore. Let's do some light reading of our emails, and then we can go. I have 4 mail. The photographer, Dad would be proud. I was right about the camera. I told the pictures I took were incredible. You see, the paintings of whales and dolphins I discovered in those caves might have been painted by Neanderthals. I don't really understand the significance of it all, but it's definitely what my father was looking for. I don't think I've ever been so happy in my entire life, and it's all because of you. Dad would be happy too, I'm sure of it. Thank you so much. I know I nearly gave my mom a heart attack, but this proves it was worth it in the end, right? I made a difference for once. I can do it again. There may be other secrets of the Death Stranding hidden nearby. I'll be more careful this time, but I have to get back out there and find them. I'll be in touch when I do. She's brave at least, going outside. Couldn't be me. Connections keep us alive. The medical terminal and bioprinter appear to be functioning as intended. The mountaineer's wife should now be able to receive the treatment she needs, thank goodness. Did you know it was my better half who designed both these devices? The medical terminal uses, if only she had voice lines. And the bioprinter was built upon existing chiral printer tech. The difference, of course, being that this model can be used to synthesize medicines and organic compounds. My partner used to enjoy life in the city. She worked as a researcher there. When I proposed moving out here to provide medical care for preppers, she was happy to follow me. How fortunate for us all, as preppers cannot survive in complete isolation, and neither can I. There is not much of a point in being a medical professional if you've no one to tend to. Indeed, you need to forge and maintain connections of all kinds. And that's just what you're helping us do. With your deliveries and by expanding the chiral network, make no mistake, the bonds between us make us stronger. But you already knew that, didn't you? When was the last time you showed appreciation for your delivery, mans? The terminal only works because of the network. She still has that very far away stare. What was the movie called? It was by Jordan Peele. Us? Or something? Thank you again for not only delivering that terminal of mine, but providing a network connection for it to function. Otherwise, it would have been no better than a box of circuits and solenoids. The network has made a difference in other ways as well. It's that much harder now for city doctors to ignore the sick out there. For a start. Their manner, that out of sight, out of mind attitude towards the suffering beyond their walls, drove my husband crazy and was one of the reasons we moved in the first place. Without even a modicum of compassion or consideration, they demand people come into town to see them, and when those poor folks inevitably couldn't make the trip, corpse disposal ended up with more bodies to burn. I couldn't help but be moved by his passion for his profession. Didn't think twice about joining him or marrying him. I thought a great deal about what kind of benefits the chiral network might bring, which led me to devise a terminal as a means of treating patients remotely. As he may have told you, we only have the one for now, but if it continues to perform well and we can find the means to mass produce them, we could help a whole lot of people. But only if the network is there to provide support, so keep expanding it. It'll help in more ways than you can imagine. The Mountaineer loves us. How's that climbing anchor treating you? I have not used it. I just left your place, actually. Thanks for helping me out back there, Sam. Out of curiosity, you have a chance to use that climbing anchor I gave you? It's pretty special, you know. The missus used to use it. It was custom made for her by a chiral craftsman. It's super light and durable, just the thing for rough terrain like this. She wants you to have it. Her way of thanking you for helping to bring our baby boy into the world. Oh, they gave birth already. Here's hoping you have plenty of use out of it. Whoa. Interviews. Cave paintings and stencils. Cave paintings provide an invaluable window into the lives of our ancestors, how they lived, what they experienced. Some have been preserved here on our continent. I feel like Hartman's next, right? Although most have sadly been lost to in void-outs, the oldest cave paintings of all are believed to date back 64,800 years or more. But all of these are, or perhaps were, in Europe. Oh my god. I'm feeling a migraine. Blink 3 times. Unclench your jaw. Roll your shoulders, de-shrimp, and take a sip of water. Blink 3 times. Blink 3 times. What's become of them, I wonder? Have they too been obliterated in annihilation events? If not, are the caves containing them now infested with BTs? Are BTs in caves if it's not raining? I thought they were only in the rain. In the timefall. Does Europe still exist even? One cannot help but worry that these vital records have been forever lost to us, but I digress. These first paintings were likely made by Neanderthal. Imagine Europe is just like thriving and prospering now that America's gone. They recruit depictions of creatures such as deer, bison, and horses interspersed with stenciled outlines of large hands. Some assert these are the signatures of primeval painters, but could they not also be depictions of BT handprints? Could our ancient relatives have been trying to tell us something or issue a warning? Or is that perhaps one flight of fancy too far? Nobody contact NA ever again. It's so much more peaceful now that the Americans are gone. Oh, that song. It wasn't that long ago that we moved to this shelter, the 3 of us. Before that, we used to live in the city, until my husband up and said we had to leave. He was so insistent, and I didn't have any choice but to go along with it. I couldn't take care of our daughter by myself. He said he was sick of the city, and I can't say I don't understand at all. I mean, timefall may not have been an issue or BTs, but I can see how a safe and comfortable life might become suffocating. Our daughter might be happy and healthy, but we're the exception. Hardly anyone's even having children these days. You don't need a crystal ball to see where the world's headed. My husband says we're bound for extinction, says nobody's doing anything about it. People would rather stick their heads in the sand and try to wait out the storm. If we don't figure out the Death Stranding and fix this world of ours, that's all she wrote. My husband says that's a lot. That maybe he's just a guy with a camera, but at least he's doing something and so on. He's out again somewhere investigating something. Recently, he's started taking our daughter with him, teaching her to take photos of rocks and murals and the like. I'm glad they're spending time together, and I know it's for her education, but I still hate it when they go out and leave me here to wait and pray that they come home safe and sound. Go out there with them. People aren't meant to stay cooped up inside or live in one place forever. I feel like I'm being called out. It's not natural. Exploration's in our DNA. The great outdoors is where we're supposed to be. You know, our ancestors started out in Africa, right? Well, they didn't just stay there, did they? They wanted to try and find a better life, a better home. That's why humanity spread all across the planet. And as we have traveled, we've evolved. Little by little, we've grown tougher and smarter. Even our immune systems have become stronger. But if we stop moving, stop exploring, that all stops too. We stagnate as a species, maybe even regress. That's why we can't hole up in the cities. There's a whole universe beyond those chiral clouds that I'd love to explore someday. But if that's not possible, then I want to at least get as close as I can, climb the biggest mountains, go as high as I can go, and try to see what lies beyond. And I want to do it with the love of my life. The world-class mountaineer who showed me the beauty of this place, my guiding star. Together, there's no peak we can't summit. His wife is... He's saying that his wife is the world-class mountaineer. This one's so sweet. That was my favorite. Okay, alright. That's all. That's all for today. That's it for this week. I shall see you guys next weekend. I hope you guys had a lot of fun. I feel like I'm speedrunning this because I miss my bridge maybe. And I refuse to go into BT zones without Lou. I still don't know when Sam Porter Bridges decided to... What is this purple? Oh, it's like a darker purple. I can't color my other ones like that though. Anyways. Thanks for hanging out with me. I will see you guys Monday. This VOD will be uploaded to YouTube. Need some witch games for Spooktober. This game is spoopy, right? Should I pause Death Stranding to play a different game or something? But then next week's gonna be a pretty short week. We'll see. I'll think about it. Thanks for hanging out with me. I appreciate you. Let's play. Okay, next week, Death Stranding. The week after that, maybe Little Witch. So it can be that whole week.